What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam and welcome back to another Comically Boston Monday morning podcast where we talk the weekly nerdy news each Monday and talk about what's gone on over the last week in nerddom. And this is a bit of a chunky old show for y'all, but we're going to be chatting a little bit of that look up changing into a look out promo for Supergirl. We're going to be talking what's James Gunn's next DCU film, and then Emmy nominations came out, so we're going to chat a little bit about that. And then towards the end of the show, we're going to talk a little bit of Marvel and Fantastic Four and what they're shooting currently in New York. But jumping into this show, we do have Chris Helmsworth's new show, or second season of the show he's been doing, I believe, with Nat Geo, and it's called Limitless, and it says live better now. And I believe this show came after he had gotten like a brain early Alzheimer's type of diagnosis, and he was like, you know what, I've always done this strengthening of my body, but now I gotta go do things to strengthen my mind. That's kind of what the whole point of the show is. And it's pretty much just Chris Hemsworth doing a bunch of shit that could kill him and wild stuff, and he keeps doing it. And that's Thor, baby. But that's coming to Disney Plus, Hulu, and Nat Geo August 15th. Now, a movie poster coming October 10th, filmed for IMAX exclusively in theaters, is Tron Ares, and apparently the most recent trailer for this got some guff. Some people aren't really loving Jared Leto. I've never been a huge Tron person. I remember Tron Legacy coming out when I was younger, and yeah, I mean, the visuals in that looked great, but this is like Tron comes to the real world. I mean, I haven't seen the most recent trailer. If people are mad about it, I haven't seen it, but it looks like this guy's going up the side of a building, which Ghost Rider did it first. If you know, you know. I'm just saying. But, I don't know. Are you guys going to be here for Tron Ares in October? Some things I'm sure a bunch of people will be here for, but also a controversial title because the most recent trailer for Stranger Things Season 5 is getting a lot of hate, and I haven't seen it at all. Any of the trailers, any of the seasons. I mean, I started Season 1 of Stranger Things, and boy, is it creepy, you know, that poor girl sitting on like a diving board at a pool, and that creepy thing's like lurking behind her about to get her, and like, I'm not good with the creepy vibes, you know, like, I could do scary, but just creeping me out the whole time for no reason. Maybe during Halloween time I'm gonna have to really get into Stranger Things and try and blast through 4 seasons, so that by the time Volume 1 of Season 5 comes out, November 27th, which I believe has to be Thanksgiving weekend maybe, and then Volume 2 comes out the 26th of December, right after Christmas, and then the finale drops New Year's Eve. So they're getting like 3 little holidays where people should be home to binge watch one last adventure. And I believe that's Vecna's face coming through the clouds, and those kids are now full-grown adults. Some of those kids got to die in that final season, am I right? Comment below. Something I'm very excited about, Invincible Season 5 is on the way. It just got greenlit, and of course Robert Kirkman, the creator and writer of that, is still coming back along with Corey Walker and Ryan Otley. And of course, the boy Invincible himself. The most recent season of that, I believe, was Season 3 just came out, I think. And Season 4 is like on its way, but like Season 3, or maybe that was Season 4, but either way, the most recent season of Invincible was incredible, and Steven Yeun as, you know, what's the guy's name? Mark. Really good. I really love Invincible. Such a dark show, but also like got so much heart in it. Like, ooh, kind of like The Boys if it was like animated, you know what I mean? Kind of. But another show that is confirmed now to be filming, and that would be the Harry Potter HBO series. And they have started filming their first scene on episode 1, and young Harry here is in his robes, and his hair is all messy. It looks like he maybe has that little scar under the hair or the glasses. He looks good. He looks like Harry. Now, some people weren't too happy, but some people are also happy, kind of split, on Nick Frost's look as Hagrid. Some people are saying it looks like Nick Frost is just doing a Robbie Coltrane's Hagrid cosplay. But, I mean, they can't change the look of Hagrid too much, right? Like, I think Nick Frost will be fine. You know, it'll be great. He'll have a nice voice, big, thick, woolly hair, big, thick beard. I mean, it looks like Hagrid. I mean, can you be mad? But it made me also think, like, oh, right, so the Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone, the first book, is what this whole first season is going to be. So we're probably going to get Harry getting picked up by Hagrid, you know, and sitting on the cake and turning Dudley's ass into a pigtail, you know, like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get all that, right? You know, in the, well, I don't know how much different the books are to the first movies. I've never read the books. I'm a movie guy, but I loved the Harry Potter movies growing up, and still to this day. So, I mean, we're gonna see him go to Gringotts Bank and pick up some gold, and go pick up the stone, and go to Ollivanders and get the wand. No, not that one. You know, like, Ollivanders just got cast, I think, as Qyburn, who from Game of Thrones, I think. You know, like, I'm here for it. I don't know if I'll love it, but I'm here for it. I think I'm gonna check it out. Do you want to see this HBO Harry Potter series, where they're gonna be doing one season per book, where we should get some more time to flush out the books a little bit more, rather than just a 2-hour movie? Maybe this will be great. Could be a disaster. Who knows? We won't know until we see it, you know? Something that I think will be really good, though, because I am not only a werewolf fan, but now I'm kind of a Robert Eggers director fan, and his Nosferatu, although weird, was kind of great, you know, and kind of moody, and kind of like what you want from a vampire, weird Nosferatu movie. And Lily Rose Depp, poor girl, and that had to look at that fucking hideous fucking vampire dong. Oh boy. But this werewolf film's titled WERWULF, or it might just be WERWULF without the second E. But Werewolf by Robert Eggers is described as a movie set in the 13th century England with proper time period accurate dialogue. Aaron Taylor Johnson is playing the werewolf, right? So, coming off of Kraven the Hunter, maybe he's just keeping the beard and the long hair, and he's going to be becoming a wolf man. Now, will it be fully CGI, kind of like a Van Helsing werewolf? Maybe. I mean, still to this day, a lot of people love that design more than anything else we've gotten. I'm hoping it's more of like a American Werewolf in London, where you see the slow progression of this guy get ripped apart and turned into a werewolf, and then all of a sudden he's kind of like not even a human anymore. He's just like this prosthetic thing that they're like, you know, moving around. But it looked great. It's still to this day one of the best werewolf movies I've seen, and that movie's from like 81, you know. And I did like The Wolfman 2010, but then it kind of gets a little weird at a couple points with like Anthony Hopkins becomes a fucking werewolf. You're like, oh, what is going on here? But, you know, Benicio del Toro is also a werewolf in that. But, you know, I think this will be a return to like kind of what a werewolf should be. Not only is it going to be time period correct, it's in, you know, got Aaron Taylor Johnson, Lily Rose Depp, possible Willem Dafoe, you know, and just like the couple shots of like the things that the werewolf, the people have been using as like the picture. You know, one of them is kind of like more of a comic book design of a werewolf, and, you know, crows flying around, and he's like ripping off his shirt and howling at the moon. But then this other one is just like this creepy dark figure running through the woods, and it's kind of like, you know, is that a man? Is that Bigfoot? Is that a wolf face? Oh my god, that's a werewolf, you know, like that kind of thing. And if I saw this thing running at me, I would shit my pants. But maybe those are just my pants. Comment below your thoughts on werewolves. And comment below if you're going to be checking out Robert Eggers' next film, Werewolf. Now, I didn't love the first one. I just liked the first Mortal Kombat movie. And most recently, the Mortal Kombat 2 has started to release some... I think they released the trailer over the weekend as well. I didn't get to see that, but I did see that they were dropping some Johnny Cage teasers. And Johnny Cage from the Mortal Kombat universe is like a movie star, you know, turned fighter. And Johnny Cage is going to be played by Carl Urban. And it says Uncaged Fury in this fake movie title for a Johnny Cage movie. And then you see Johnny Cage himself, Carl Urban, standing here ready to kick some ass. Who's he going to be fighting? I can't wait. I love me some Carl Urban. But now we have a whole bunch of character posters that they've released, and we'll go through them quickly. Cole Young, the guy that was the star in the first movie, I did not hate him. I kind of liked him. He was kind of like a Scorpion ancient descendant type of thing. But Scorpion was also there, so like, maybe not. Maybe he's got his own powers, but it seems like he's maybe got a blade in his hands. movie coming October 24th, though, so nice little Halloween fight movie. I'm kind of here for that. Kano, my favorite from the first movie. He was hilarious in the first movie, and he got that red eye. He's also kind of like a, "I am Scottish, I'll kick your bloody ass," you know, like, I don't know if he is Scottish or not, but he certainly sounds it to me. But he's got like a dragon on his daggers here, and he's got that red eye that glows. Yeah, I like Kano. Kung Lao, who has like the giant hat that he could throw as like a blade. I love that. Jax, who has ripped off arms or frozen off arms by Sub-Zero, I believe. And then he's got now metal arms. I kind of liked him from the first movie too. He's kind of one of the guys that we meet first in the first movie. Comes and finds Cole Young. And then Scorpion here, of course, the yellow title for Scorpion with the white eyes. I really like that. Pretty sure that was Hiroyuki Sanada in the first movie. I wonder if he's returning, especially after like Shogun. This one, I'm not sure if we met in the first movie, or maybe we did, but now he's got like this armor over top of him, or maybe he's new for the second movie. But Shao Kahn, which I think I remember from the game, badass looking character, almost looks like a Terminator samurai type of deal. Baraka, who looks like, for lack of better words, like a Killer Croc from the DC universe. Don't want to end up in his teeth. Shang Tsung, which was like the leader of the bad guys in the last movie. I'm sure he's returning. I kind of need to rewatch the first one, but I'll do that when this movie's coming out in October. I'll rewatch the first one, like it all over again, but then it will get me real hyped to go see the second one. And then the final character poster we have here, Bi-Han. And I don't know if he's a very important character, but I certainly remember him from the game with that mask. And isn't Bi-Han kinda Scorpion? I could be wrong. Maybe he's another character entirely. But Mortal Kombat fans, comment below. Are you excited for Mortal Kombat 2? And if you saw the trailer, is it good enough that I need to do a trailer reaction? Comment below. Maybe that will come out this week. But jumping over into some DC news, and Superman box office is soaring. And last week I reported that they made $217 million in their opening weekend worldwide, globally. But it actually topped the box office predictions and actually did 220 in their global box office opening. And now, I mean, the second week in, I'm thinking we're past 400 something million dollars and soaring towards $1 billion. Will it make $1 billion? I'm not sure. You know, it will. This week will be very interesting because obviously people before Thursday are going to be trying to maybe stuff in some more Superman you're seeing watches, because by Thursday when the Fantastic Four comes out, I'm thinking people might switch over to that, right? You got 2 weeks to see Superman. People that have seen it and maybe have seen it multiple times, like myself, I got to see it for the second time over the weekend, and there's like a full spoilers discussion that I'm going to be putting out tomorrow, talking more Superman and my thoughts and my opinions after my second watch and my official score for my Letterboxd. But Superman might still do well, right? Because there might still be people out there that are like DC only and they're just going to keep going to Superman, and then there might be people that are Marvel only and won't go to Superman and will just go to the Fantastic Four. But also, you know, the Fantastic Four looks like a Marvel movie that from the past, so it doesn't necessarily look like the Marvel right now, so maybe some people won't even consider it like a, oh, it's not Iron Man or Captain America, so I'm not going to see, you know, like, who knows. I'm hoping that, you know, one movie doing great rises the tides for all other ships, you know what I mean? And, you know, even Jurassic World wasn't necessarily hurt too bad by Superman, and it's now past $500 million globally and making a ton of money, even though that movie had mixed reviews. So I'm thinking Superman is going to do great, and maybe the box office will be hurt for now the next couple weeks when Fantastic Four comes out. Or maybe the Fantastic Four's box office will be hurt because people that haven't seen Superman will be going to see that instead of going to check out Fantastic Four. I don't know. It will be very interesting to see what the box office results are over this next weekend and see how Fantastic Four opens globally. I'm thinking most of the real super fans like myself have seen Superman, and then now we're going to be shifting our focus into the Fantastic Four and really loving that. But for me, I'm still more fascinated by what James Gunn keeps saying in the press. And this guy, messaged him straight up, like, when does Superman 2 come out? Because after you see Superman, you want to see Superman 2 immediately. And James Gunn just commented back, define Superman 2. So, what does that mean? What is James Gunn working on next? Some people have speculated that it's a Batman and Superman world's finest thing. He kind of denied that, kind of didn't. He kind of just shook his head. He didn't verbally decline that wasn't happening. So maybe that's what he's working on. Maybe it's not a Superman 2. Maybe it's a Justice Gang. Maybe it's a Super Friends. Maybe that's where he's going for a sequel. And it's not going to be called Superman 2, but Superman's going to play a big part in it. Maybe even be the lead. Who knows? Maybe it will be like a Superman and Supergirl, and that after her movie, then we'll come do like a joint sequel for both of them, and kind of bring together the son and daughter of Krypton type of thing. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. I'm still kind of clamoring for the Batman and Superman and have Pattinson be the DCU Batman. I mean, just look at the shot with them next to each other. It's polar opposite, but that's kind of the point. You know what I mean? Like, he's younger, and I thought they were closer to the same age. Pattinson's about 40, Cornsweet's about 32. So, like, not necessarily the same age, but they look about the same age. They look similar in heights, even though Pattinson's more like 6-foot-ish and he's like 6'4", so Superman would be a little bit bigger, but that would make sense. The horns on the bat cowl add up those extra 4 inches, so when they're standing across from each other, they'll be able to look kind of eye to eye and kind of similar heights. Plus the Batman can maybe have some thicker boots, but I'm really, really into Matt Reeves' The Batman universe. So if The Batman 2 is really that good a script and it's going to be that good a film, maybe they'd pivot hard and they'd bring in this Batman to be the Batman in the DCU. And what says that Robert Pattinson can't have a Bat family and have multiple Robins and a Nightwing and a fucking Batgirl and and have that going on? Why not? Like they're saying, get an older Batman. Why not just let time take its course and let Robert Pattinson age into this role? Or do they want to start as an older Batman? And if that's the case, and have like a bigger Batman and have the Bat family and he's now a father, that type of thing, I'm still on the board of Alan Ritchson. But another interesting question about the DCU Batman: do you want him to have white eyes like in the comics or like in the animated show? When he puts on the cowl, he's got white eyes, kind of like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, right? I mean, I got the popcorn bucket. I don't want to knock over that figure, but it had white eyes, kind of like Deadpool, where it's white eyes, and it kind of adds to the comic booky mask, although it looks a little unsettling. If Deadpool didn't have white eyes and he just had his eyes showing, it would look really unsettling and weird, you know what I mean? But Wolverine, we weren't sure if the white eyes were gonna work because we've never really seen that Wolverine in live action wearing a cowl. I think it works great. Also, the way that James Gunn did it would work great, implying that, yes, his eyes are white, like Mr. Terrific. There's great shot of him where it looks like the T-spears and his eyes are fully white. But if you really look, he's got like these contacts that are like, super high-tech technology, and he's trying to like, I think he's like driving his T-spears with his brain and his contacts, and each one of the eyes is him seeing through the T-spears. But when the technology's working, it looks like this white cloaked mask, and it looks really good. So I pose the question: would you want Batman to look like this, where it's white, almost like 99% white, but you can still make out the cornea and the eyeball? Or do you want it full white, no seeing of the eyeball underneath? Either way for me would work, but I think this makes a lot more sense, where it's like a technological, plausible reason why his eyes look white, rather than just like, how's he seeing through that mask? It's just white cutouts in front of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm here for the Mr. Terrific version with the high-tech contact lenses. You know what I mean? And I think Bruce Wayne Batman would also have high-tech technology like this. I don't think Mr. Terrific is smarter in that sense necessarily than Batman, technology-wise. Like, I think one of Batman's greatest abilities is that he makes all these gadgets for himself, right? Like the grapple gun, the smoke bomb, the Batarang. He's got so many things. I mean, go back to Adam West Batman. He had fucking bear repellent, shark repellent, you know, like he had all these attachments for whatever he needed at the moment. You know what I mean? And that's one of Batman's greatest abilities, is that he's always ready, down for the cause type of thing. But I also love that, like, with Mr. Terrific, he could have the white eyes, or in a different scene when he's flying on Krypto's back, he can have just regular eyes, like human eyes, and you could see like the the fear and the super wide spread of the human eye, rather than it just being this white, you can't really see what my eyes are doing type of expression, you know what I mean? And I give Eddie Gathegi a lot of credit, because he made you love this character, and he didn't have a whole lot of screen time. He doesn't have a whole lot of crazy lines. Well, he does have the, I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific, which is great. But, like, he's also hidden behind this rubber tee that's, like, stuck to his face, which, could restrict, facial expressions quite a bit. And his character doesn't really express with his face a whole lot, with his face. And he does a phenomenal job making you like this character, regardless of his, emotions, right? Like, his biggest emotion in this movie is he kind of goes, kind of grins out of one corner of his mouth. Like, I love seeing Eddie Gathegi get to play a character as cool as Mr. Terrific and not get murdered instantly like Darwin in X-Men First Class. You know what I mean? Like, he was one of the best parts in that movie, and they just kill him. And it's like, sure, once they kill him, it gives it that, like, oh my god, any of these other characters could die. Oh no. But, like, you're gonna kill the one character that shouldn't be killed? Like, they could have killed anybody in that room. They chose to kill the character that can evolve to anything and not die. And they killed that one. It's like, dumbasses. Like, I think they just killed him because Eddie was black and it was an earlier time. Like, I think he was the only black guy in that cast, was he not? Ooh. Fox. Gotcha. But speaking of Superman and Batman, and talking DC Comics, there has been that DC Deadpool and Batman crossover comic that's been going on, and this is like an alternate cover to that Deadpool Batman crossover cover, where it looks like Batman is fighting Wolverine, and Wolverine's in his classic blue and yellow, which I love to see, and Batman seems to be getting cut up viciously here by the Wolverine. What are they fighting about? Would you want to see that comic? I need to, actually. I mean, I love Batman. I love Wolverine. I never would have in a million years expected them to be fighting, so might need to check that out. But I love that Superman is rising all tides for DC things, where you walk out of James Gunn's Superman and you immediately want to see more DC. You want to see more Superman. And evidently that's true all over the world, because the Superman, Christopher Reeve, 1976, the Superman the movie, is up 332% viewer rating, or viewage, watch time, whatever, the viewer percentage on these projects on HBO Max since James Gunn's project has released. It's up 332%. Man of Steel is up 218%. Peacemaker's up 91%, but the most impressive is that the Super/Man Christopher Reeve documentary about being Superman is up 1,200%. I love to see that. Love to see that that documentary and Christopher Reeve in that OG movie, and even Man of Steel, is getting more love, because we want, as a society, leaving Superman, we want more Superman. And unfortunately, I think the same thing's going to happen for Fantastic Four, but they're not going to be able to go back and watch a movie as good as Christopher Reeve Superman or Man of Steel. They're going to have to go back to like the 2005 Fantastic Four and the Silver Surfer, which I'm fond of and I loved as a kid, but watching as an adult, you can't help but go, this isn't the best movie. It doesn't look the best. It didn't age the best. Where like a 1976 Christopher Reeve, although it be old and 50-something years old, you're like, yeah, no, it looks 50 years old. But yet, it somehow, some way, still holds up incredibly well. Man of Steel, not that long ago, still looks great. not necessarily James Gunn's Superman, but like I think there's a world where James Gunn's Superman can exist and you love that and also love the Snyderverse. There doesn't have to be these Snyderverse gatekeeping motherfuckers that are like, oh, Cavill over Cornsweat, and if you like Cavill, you can't like Cornsweat. What? I love Henry Cavill. Not for Superman, ironically. I love him for being himself. And David Cornsweat, I've now learned who he is through this Superman movie, and I love him as well. You'll never get me to hate Snyder and hate James Gunn for no reason, right? Like, I don't love Snyder, but I love his cinematography. Like, each of his movies looks incredible. My problem with Snyder is more of his story, right? Like, he needs to spend more time on his scripts and make movies for the audience rather than himself. But I still like Zack Snyder. His Rebel Moon movies on Netflix weren't great, but his Watchmen, this is Sparta 300, you know, and Man of Steel still look incredible. I mean, Zack Snyder's Justice League, that although it'd be 4.5 hours, still pretty great. You know, I was rewatching that recently myself, but it's going to take me a few sittings. I was 2.5 hours in, and I was like, oh, I gotta go to bed. It's 2 in the morning. Oh my god, I have 2 hours left of this movie? I was like, I can't do that. I'll pick up tomorrow. But Superman is bringing, everybody wants more of Superman, and hopefully we won't have to wait too long because promo and posters and looks have already started been released for the Supergirl movie, right? And I think they're going to be connected, Superman and Supergirl, more than I expected. Not only through Krypto being Supergirl Kara's dog, and Superman was just fostering the dog for her. The Look Up promo art from Superman is now been spray painted over and has now been turned into Kara's Supergirl's promotion, and what was Look Up is now Look Out. And I love this because it says a couple of things, right? Like, look out, here she comes, like she's crash landing in. Or maybe like, look out for this one because she's nuts and she's not as nice as that other one, you know, or like, look out, I'm coming. Oh, Lord, I'm coming. Right, like, I can picture that song's going to be used in a promo for this movie where she's kicking all types of ass, or maybe getting her ass kicked, because we know that she's probably going to be drunk celebrating her 21st birthday at the start of this movie, and then she might fight Lobo and then have to be on this quest of vengeance, which is kind of like a broad statement of like what the comics like. So if this is adapting Woman of Tomorrow closely or at all, I think Millie Alcock's Supergirl is going to be so perfect. And just look at the suit. The like kind of trench coat covering everything up. The top is exactly like David Cornsweat's Superman logo, but she's kind of got like Wonder Woman skirt with like a gold buckle, and the boots with just the gold trim on the boots on the bottom and on the top. Her outfit looks perfect. I can't wait to see this. Comment below, are you excited for Millie Alcock's Supergirl and to see Jason Momoa as Lobo? I don't know when this is coming out. I want to say like July of next year, but I'm not sure if that's a real release date or if that's just something in my head. Comment below if you know when this will be dropping and if it will be before or after Clayface. I would be very curious to know that. But we know it's wrapped filming, right? So I can't wait to see that movie, honestly. Anything more from James Gunn's DCU, like I'm ecstatic, just a couple weeks away for Peacemaker Season 2, but man, I can't wait to see on a big screen again a DC character. And I mean, HBO's The Lantern sounds awesome too, but I don't know if that will be coming before or after Supergirl, you know what I mean? Like, I need this sooner rather than later, James Gunn. Like, I think we need another DC project for the end of this year rather than just Peacemaker be the last thing in August, because who knows how many weeks that will run, maybe into September, but like, I'm thinking we need a DC project for like November or December, you know what I mean? Like heading us into the next year. And if not, maybe like a February or January of next year to kick off the year, you know? I need that. I really do. But let's jump into some of the Emmy nominations and just congratulate a couple of these people, and then we'll obviously do a Emmy winners video when the Emmys happen, probably next year or whenever they happen. But the Emmy Awards have been released and talked about in 14 Emmy nominations for Andor Season 2, including Outstanding Drama Series. I hope that gets, you know, the love it deserves because Season 2 was incredible. Now, there was also The Penguin, who received 24 Emmy nominations, including Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series. So I think, honestly, because it's in that category and not like drama or comedy or anything like that, I think this might actually win, which would be great. And Colin Farrell's The Penguin, Oz Cobb in that show. He's won multiple things at this point by now. I'm pretty sure he won the Golden Globes. He won the BAFTA, I want to say. He's been nominated for a whole bunch. I'm pretty sure Kristen Milioti won an award for Sophia Falcone. So I'm hoping they're both nominated, and I think they are. And I hope both Colin Farrell as Oz and Kristen Milioti as Sophia Falcone win for The Penguin. We just rewatched that show recently. My roommate loved it, which I didn't see coming, but still awesome show. The Last of Us Season 2 got a whole bunch of Emmy nominations, and it's also nominated for Outstanding Drama Series. And then Pedro got nominated for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series, even though he's kind of not a lead for the whole season, but for what happens to him in Season 2, I think they might give him the award just for being a trooper, you know? Like, even though that happens in the game, he's a beast for just letting that happen to him and being Pedro Pascal at the height in his career and just being like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'll be Joel. Like, ooh, I can't wait for Season 3 of that anyways. But Bella Ramsey as Ellie has also gotten an Emmy nom for Outstanding Lead Actress in Last of Us Season 2, as well as many of the other characters from the show. Caitlin Dever, or I always say Caitlin Dever got nominated as a guest actress, along with Catherine O'Hara, who played Gale, Jeffrey Wright, who played Isaac, and Joe Pantoliano, who played Eugene, and he was only in there for a brief episode. It definitely left his mark on that season, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Pantoliano win, but that's as a guest actor. And I believe the studio also has gotten a shit ton of nominations, mostly for all their guest actors and crazy, you know, special actors that show up. I mean, Martin Scorsese acts in that show for like a half a second, and you're like, what the hell? How'd they get Scorsese to act in this? And like Charlize Theron's in there, Zoe Kravitz, and so many actors. I mean, Bryan Cranston, Seth Rogen, so many. But the studio beats Ted Lasso's Emmy record for the most nominations by a freshman comedy series. So for comedy for the last year, I think the studio will clean house at the Emmys. And then also something that normally wins for Outstanding Comedy Series, which might be thrown in the same category as the studio, which I think the studio would probably win, but long-running TV show The Abbott Elementary is Emmy nominated again for Outstanding Comedy Series. I believe this is like multiple seasons now that they've been nominated each year, and I'm pretty sure they're an Emmy-winning show for how long they've been on and doing that. And I've heard great things. I haven't checked it out myself, but comment below. Are you an Abbott Elementary fan? Now, some people say snubbed. I say still recognized, so that's cool. But I think Catherine Hahn getting an Emmy nomination for a guest star in the studio when she's just kind of, you know, having fun, when she showed such range for Agatha All Along as Agatha, I think she should have gotten a nom at least for her performance in Agatha All Along. But the Outstanding Sound Editing for a comedy series or drama for the half-hour episode, Agatha All Along getting a couple of Emmy noms, and also for Outstanding Fantasy Sci-Fi Costumes, and also for Outstanding Original Music in Lyrics, The Ballad of the Witch's Road, and getting an Emmy nom for that song, you know, like the Ballad of the Witch's Road. Down, down, down the road, down the Witch's Road. God, I miss Agatha All Along. I'll be doing a rewatch in October. Comment below if that's something we should do together. But that's enough of the Emmys, and let's just close out the show with some Marvel news. First up, you guys know me, I have been collecting these Hot Toys figures. I love the characters, and I love how well that they display on the shelves, but I also love, you know, that you can get, you know, a couple $100. Same thing that you can get a giant Avengers Tower and then spend 2 weeks building. You can spend, you know, the same, if not half the money, get a figure, and then pose it whatever way you want, and then change it later, you know, like, It holds its value pretty well, and it also depicts my favorite characters, whether it's Hugh Jackman on my shelf as Wolverine, or Deadpool, or Spider-Man, or Ghost Rider, or Shang-Chi, or Superman, or, you know, Iron Man, Daredevil, Hulk back there, right? Like, I have so many of these figures that I love so much, mostly because of the actors and characters from the movies, and then sometimes just the character itself, like Hulk. I don't care what he looks like, I love me some Hulk. But I've always loved The Thing, but we've never really gotten a great Ben Grimm Thing. And now we're going to be able to get it in Hot Toys version, shirtless with the Rocky form out with the non-bearded head sculpt, or we can get the bearded head sculpt, which makes me so happy. So you can have him beardless or bearded. You can have him shirtless or rocked, you know, like you can have whatever type of look you want for Ben Grimm. And this one's going to be awesome for me. I really can't wait with the, you know, removable top. And then he has like the regular Fantastic Four top if you really want to rep it that way. These, all four of them come with like a special edition metallic metal collectible card with the display case for that card. Interesting. But a couple of different faces for this Ben Grimm, and then you swap out shirt. It looks like a decent sized base that his feet maybe overhang on, so maybe a slightly too small base for him, but it looks like it's like white and blue. It has the Fantastic Four logo and then like his character logo also of like Ben Grimm the Thing. The second of the Fantastic Four that I really want to look at here, Sue Storm. She's got a little bit of like a invisibility shield effect that she's throwing out there. She looks really good. I mean, I love the Vanessa Kirby head sculpt, although her hair looks very white. I feel like in real life it's a little bit more blonde than white, but maybe when the film comes out, maybe it is more white than blonde in the film. But she also has a baby carriage or crate carrier thing for Franklin, and looks like maybe also comes with Herbie, which is awesome. I love that Herbie and all the accessories that this is going to come with. The baby, Herbie's going to have interchangeable face plates. That's cool. Very cool. I'm very interested in this. The rolling eyeballs. She's got those baby blue eyes that are piercing with the popping with the blue outfit. She's kind of got like this blue heel on her boots too, kind of like a female boot. I'm digging this. I'm really enjoying this a lot. I don't know if these are already on sale, but oh my god, look at friggin' Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. He looks so good. That mustache looks so real. Oh my god, it looks like a little fuzzy mustache. Man, oh man, this figure looks great. But I also don't know how they're going to do it, because it does say interchangeable sculpted statue body. So it looks like you might come with the figure and then come with a statue version of the body where you like just pop on his head maybe. I don't know. But it seems that this statue body is flexible and stretchy. So, I mean, yeah, if you're going to do a Mr. Fantastic, you can't necessarily do like a clay figure where it's stretchy limbs. That doesn't necessarily work. So I guess statue is the way to go. But man, does he look a little weird as a statue? A little too slender? But I mean, he's Mr. Fantastic. I'm going to have to see him stretch in the movie to know if it looks proper or not. But then they also have this one look where like he's normal looking and then his arms kind of stretchy as he's like petting or tapping Herbie on the head. So maybe it's got some arms that are stretchy. I don't know, man. That's a figure that Ben Grimm and the other one look fine. How are they going to do stretchy Hot Toys figure? Like, I'm going to have to see this one in person or unboxed. And then I tried to find pictures of the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, but the only thing I could find was just this Joseph Quinn with his arm on fire down on the right there. So, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be doing all four at once, if they're already available for pre-order, or if it was just kind of like an RSVP to be able to pre-order eventually. But Superman already is available for pre-order in like pre-releasing somewhere for some figures, for some people, you know, like, so I don't know. It would be really cool if they start like releasing projects, and instead of like, you know, releasing Thunderbolts and saying, hey, you could buy Yelena, and then me pre-ordering her and her not coming in until late 2026, you know, like I'm gonna spend a year waiting for that. I'm gonna forget about her, but then she's gonna just show up at my doorstep and I'm gonna go, oh, Yelena, you know, like I wish I could see Superman, order Superman, and then in multiple weeks Superman comes in. Or see Fantastic Four, order the Fantastic Four, and then they're here within a couple months rather than a year or so. I understand they need to make them, they need the process of putting them together. I wish they had Marvel Studios with them a little bit more to be able to make these ahead of time. And maybe they did, and that's why they're able to release before the movie's even able to come out, and at least we have a look at what the figures might look like. I don't know, man. I think it's still a type of thing where, like, it's a process to make these figures. Sometimes they need longer than others. Sometimes they need shorter than others. But, like Deadpool's already out from Deadpool and Wolverine. That came out pretty much the same month as like that came out. So, like, I don't know. The Fantastic Four, comment below if you're a Hot Toys collector. Are you going to be getting the Fantastic Four? Maybe you're just going to get Ben Grimm. Maybe you're just going to get Reed Richards. Or are you going to have to get the entire four? For me personally, I can't get one without the other ones, so I'm going to have to get the entire four. Maybe they're going to come as a 4-pack. I doubt that, but, I would love to have all 4 of these bastards on my shelf, including a Herbie. There was also a Galactus figure, or maybe a statue, that just, like, says it's a jumbo SoFi figure, and it has, like, little miniature versions of the Fantastic Four all around him, beating him up. Like, you can see Johnny with the flame, Reed's throwing like a stretchy punch, you got Sue on his shoulder kind of throwing a force field. Kind of wild, like how big and how good Galactus looks too. So I mean, if they do the 4 and then Galactus, and they have like these little different things to go on Galactus to show the scale of him, I would be here for that. But then they also show a little bit of a surfer flying around Galactus as well. So maybe they end up doing a female surfer as well. I would be here for that. But just to close out today's show, we have this new Fantastic Four poster, which kind of feels new, kind of feels older. I can't wait to see the Fantastic car flying around in the Fantastic Four building and Herbie. I loved these Time magazine posters where you kind of have like Sue Storm, then Mrs. Fantastic, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, Ben Grimm as just Eben Moss Backrack, the space astronaut pilot, and then Ben Grimm, the Rock version of the Thing. I love that. And then there was also this Esquire cover with Reed Richards and like science written on the board behind him. I mean, he really does look like Reed Richards, and I can't wait to have his Reed Richards with Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm. I think I'm really gonna love their relationship so much, and the fact that they actually have a full relationship, having a child. Like, I don't know what this movie's gonna take us on or where we're gonna go, but I hope that child's gonna be all right. But I love that each of the Fantastic Four are on the Time magazine cover. Just looks so good. But also a bit of sad news to end the show. Fantastic Four First Steps director Matt Shakman has confirmed that he had to cut John Malkovich from the movie, and he would have been playing Red Ghost, and it was heartbreaking not to include him in the final version of the movie, but he's one of my favorite humans and one of my biggest inspirations, and I think most people love John Malkovich for being crazy and weird, but unfortunate and crazy that a actor of John Malkovich's magnitude is cut out of Fantastic Four. Crazy. And also, to really end the show, John Bernthal has been caught on camera in a green hoodie and pants and a big beard and longer hair and an X carved on his chest because he's filming the Punisher special presentation currently in New York, and there was like a little teaser shot that got released of him like shooting somebody in traffic. He's wearing like a trench coat. Really cool stuff. I can't believe this is a real project that's filming and that it's already underway. Daredevil Born Again Season 2 just wrapped filming. Can't wait for that. And we also know that Punisher is confirmed to be in Spider-Man 4. So I'm very excited. I can't wait for all of these. I can't wait for the Punisher special presentation. And comment below your thoughts on everything we talked about today. If you'd like to chat more weekly nerdy news with me, my name is Big Cam. My links from my other social medias are down in the description below. And if you made it this far and your fucking battery died in the middle of my outro, don't you hate when that happens? But I don't know where I cut off, but comment below your thoughts on the Punisher special presentation, everything else we talked about today, the Harry Potter HBO series, Mortal Kombat 2, Supergirl coming up, look out for Supergirl, what is James Gunn's next DC film, Emmy nominations. Comment below. Hot Toys, Fantastic Four coming out. Fantastic Four First Steps later this week. So comment your thoughts on all of these down in the comment section below. Or if you'd like to message me on my other social medias, links down in the description below. Big Cam, 2Gs and Bigg. Look for this face, you'll find me. Thank you guys so much for coming on by, and if you've made it this far in the video, I highly appreciate you and hope that you support the channel by liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below, subscribing if you haven't already, and hitting that bell so you don't miss future Comically Boston weekly nerdy news podcasts coming out every Monday. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. Once again, my name is Big Cam, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace!